Hey, so for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Lisa, or Chanel, whichever you prefer to call me. I personally prefer Chanel. That's what Kyrie would introduce me as. That's what he called me. It kind of just became my name over the years. It's my middle name, but now people just call me Chanel. But hey, so this video was supposed to be done like over a year ago. I planned to do it, you know, right after his death. A lot of people were reaching out to me asking how I was doing, but honestly I was like really overwhelmed at the time. Super sad. It was just, I was so numb. It was so unreal to me, and it was like really hard to talk about it. I refused to go to counseling. I refused to talk about it to even like my close family. I really only shared how I felt with, you know, my close friends and some of his family who can relate and understand. So honestly, it was like so hard to even talk about. But we wanted to initially do a family YouTube channel. He has a best friend who does YouTube, and he really inspired us. So I mean, we really wanted to do it, and so I kind of wanted to do a channel even after, you know, to kind of honor him and still keep our same goals and still do what we plan on doing. But it just was, I don't know, it just wasn't the right time. It was too hard to do at the time, you know. And then plus it was just like, it was a really hard time in our lives, and so I just, that's why it's taking me so long to do this. But here I am. So I was just gonna talk about, you know, basically what happened and where we are now, how we are able to get through it, and how we are still managing to get through it. So I know this story was on the news of like what happened and everything, and a lot of people were reaching out to me who didn't even know me, asking, you know, what happened. They saw his stuff and then found me because I'm his girlfriend or whatever, and it was really overwhelming. But I do want to just say thank you to everyone that reached out and shared some encouraging words over this past year. Like, honestly, I appreciate you guys so much, because it's been really hard. So where do I start? I also didn't want this video to be emotional, so I kind of waited to where I was like in a good place to talk about it, because I didn't want to be a whole mess crying the entire video. I wanted to actually be able to talk and get through it and actually share our story. So basically, Kyrie and I worked together for, oh my god, for like ever. It feels like right out of high school. We got together. I mean, our relationship was rocky. We were back and forth, but we were like best friends. We loved each other. We always went back to each other no matter what. Literally. So since like 2013, yeah, so he knew everything about me. I knew everything about him. He knew me better than I knew myself. And same thing. We were just like, what he called us, Bonnie and Clyde. But we had our first kid in 2015 and our second child in 2017, both boys. And then in 2019, that's when he passed. I still remember everything like so clearly too. It's crazy. So August 2nd was a Friday. He went out after work, and he didn't get home until after, it was like 3 o'clock when he got home in the morning. So of course, like, I was not happy. I was mad, like, why are you getting home at 3 o'clock in the morning? Yada yada yada, typical relationship argument. And it was like that night was just so perfect. Like, he just, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna be home a lot more, I'm not going out no more, I love you guys, like, I'm just so sorry. He was just holding me, and just like, it was so weird, honestly, now that I think about it, how just everything played out. And then the next morning we woke up like a normal Saturday morning for us. I would make him breakfast. He would play with the boys while I was cooking, while I was preparing the meal. I actually made his favorite that morning, toast with scrambled eggs, sausage in it, 3 slices of bacon, and some orange juice. Mimosa is what he liked to drink with his breakfast. So I made him that, and then he played with the boys for a little bit, and then he was getting ready in the bathroom. We were both in the bathroom, and he was like asking me, should I go to work today? Do you think I should go to work? And I was like, I mean, you know what I'm gonna say? Like, I'm gonna say no. It's a Saturday. You don't need to work overtime. I want you to stay home, but I'm not gonna get in the way of you wanting to make extra money. Like, if that's what you want to do, go do it. Like, I'm not gonna say anything. And he was like, come on, Chanel, like, just let me know. I was like, well, you know, I don't want you to go to work, but if you want to go to work, go to work. And he ultimately decided to go to work because at his job, it's like a mandatory overtime on weekends unless you choose to work overtime one of the weekends out of the month. So he chose to work that weekend because the following weekend was his mom's birthday and he wanted that off. So we're like, okay. He was gonna get off at 5. It was date night, so I was like, you know, not really worried. I was gonna go spend time with the boys. Once he got off of work, we were gonna drop him off to his mom's house and we were gonna go on a date, and that was the plan. And then so he was leaving for work, and it's, now that I think about it, it's just like so crazy how that day played out. He was kissing us all goodbye, and then he put on his helmet for his bike. He rode a motorcycle, and then he went to say bye to us, and then he was like, wait. He took off his helmet, and then he gave us all of another kiss and another hug, and I was like, wait, give me another one. So it was just such a good day. And then he was like, Chanel, record me driving off. I want the boys to see me driving off. Record me. That's weird, but I did. So he drove off, the boys watched him drive off, and then that was it. He went to work. I went to go get my hair done by my sister. I was blonde at the time, so she was just making me blonder. And he kept calling me all day, like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? And I was like, I don't know. And then he called me. He was like, hey, my cousin's going to this comedy show. Let's go. I was like, oh, that sounds fun. So he got his tickets to the comedy show for that night. And then that's, you know, I found a sitter. His mom's gonna watch the kids, and I was so excited. He was like, he's like, just cute but comfy because you're gonna be on my bike tonight. And honestly, I wasn't excited to be on the bike. Like, I just had a bad feeling that whole day about his motorcycle, and I didn't understand why, but I did. So I went out, and I got like a cute top and a bomber because it was gonna be at nighttime to wear with some jeans or whatever. I wanted to wear heels. Like, I wanted to go out so I could wear heels, but you know, he told me to wear tennis shoes because we're gonna be on his bike, and I didn't want to be on his bike for some reason. I didn't understand that reason at the time. So I called him and I was like, Kyrie, I just want to wear heels tonight. Like, let's do something where I could wear heels. He's like, no, Chanel, we're gonna go to the comedy show. You're gonna be on the bike. Just wear tennis shoes. Wear something cute with some sneakers. And I was just like, okay, like, there's no way I can get out of this. And so I was actually praying, like, God, I don't have a good feeling about this bike today. Put it on his heart to just drive so we could take the car. I could wear heels, whatever. And honestly, the heels were an excuse because I didn't want to ride the bike. I don't normally wear heels. I don't care to wear heels anyhow. But yeah, so he was at work. He was calling us all day long. Like, it was like almost like he was obsessed with talking to us. And it was like, Kyrie always does that. Like, he would send us Snapchats throughout the day. How's your day going? But like, this was just excessive. Like, I was to the point where I was like, okay, stop calling. Like, why are you calling? Enjoy your day. I'll see you tonight. And there was blue angels in the sky that day, and he was so amused. His job is on this lake, so he'd sit at the docks and just watch the blue angels on every break, and just kept calling us, what are you guys doing now? What are you guys doing now? Oh, I can't wait to see you. I miss you guys. And it was just like so weird. And I honestly, I wish I wouldn't have rushed all of our conversations. I wish I would have just talked to him, but I mean, I know I can't do that to myself, but I mean, there's always going to be that I wish, what if type situation. So he got off at 5, and he asked me to go get him some new white tees. Kyrie is obsessed with white tees. If you know Kyrie, like he always had a white tee or a black tee, like that was his thing, and they were always new. He always had to have a new tee no matter what. So he told me to go get him some new white tees, and he said like polo medium Tommy large or Tommy medium polo large, something like that, and I couldn't remember. So I was at the store and I called him. It was like 5:45. I called him and I was like, I don't remember what you said. Did you say polo medium Tommy large or Tommy medium polo large? And then he told me what he actually wanted, and so I grabbed it and I was in line and I was like, okay, well I'll see you soon. He's like, okay, I love you, bye. And I was like, I love you, bye. And that was our last goodbye to each other. The last time he said I love you, those were our last words. And then he got on Instagram Live, which he never did ever. Kyrie's never been on Instagram Live. And he was driving his bike. He had like this thing that stuck to his bike so he could slide his phone in, so he wouldn't be holding his phone or anything, and he could actually drive while on camera or while on the phone or whatever. So that's what he was doing. He was driving while on Instagram Live, and like people were commenting, and somebody commented crash, and that instantly made me mad because I already had a bad feeling about this bike, and then somebody goes and comments crash. And so I said something like, please be safe, love you. And he was just like, bro, why would you say that? And then I hung up his live because I was done at the store. I was ready to leave. I went home. I was in the middle of before I went in the door, it was like 6 o'clock, and I called my best friend and I was just like, Kyrie's not home. Like, well, before I called her, I was contemplating on whether I should call him or her. And I didn't, like, we had such a good day, such a good night. I didn't really want to bother him too much. I didn't want to seem like crazy, you know, where are you type thing. So I was like, let me just call my friend before I talk to Kyrie because he's gonna be here soon. And so I call her and I'm talking to her for a while, and I'm just like, Kyrie should be here, but I don't really want to bother him. I don't want to bug him, but he should be here right now. Like, we really have to go. The comedy show's at 7. It's 6 o'clock. We have to go drop the kids off at his mom's house. Like, he should be here. And then I was like, whatever, I'm gonna go get ready, and then hopefully he comes. It's like 6:12. I put on my new bodysuit that I got, and I get this call, like from Snapchat, from like an old friend from like high school, middle school, which I thought was weird, and I was gonna ignore her. I walked past my phone like, why is she calling me on Snapchat? But I was just like, no, it's about Kyrie. Like, I instantly thought like, no, it's about Kyrie. And so I answered, and she was like, Kyrie was in an accident. Oh my God, there's blood everywhere. Blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And then she was like, she couldn't get it out, but she just kept saying where she was, like what was nearby. And so it's like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna go. Thank you so much. Thank you for telling me. And I just felt like he was gonna be okay. I just thought, you know, he got in an accident. He was okay. She was just calling me to let me know type thing. And then so I tried to reach his mom. His mom wasn't answering. I called his sister and I told her, I was like, call your mom. Kyrie was in an accident, you know, there's blood, so he's hurt. But I didn't think, you know, I wasn't thinking that way. And I called my friend and I was like, oh my God, Kyrie was in an accident. And she was just like, where is he? And I told her like what was nearby. And so I changed my clothes. I like put on this other bodysuit with leggings and sandals. Like, I literally looked a hot ass mess, but I wasn't really worried about what I was wearing. I was just trying to get there. So I throw the kids in the car and I'm like rushing to get there. It's horrible traffic. It's 6 o'clock on a Saturday and the traffic is just so bad, and I'm trying to get there as fast as I can. Then at that point his mom starts calling me, and I was telling her, you know, where I'm headed. My friend was headed there. Like, we are all just headed to the same place. And then I don't know how I did it, but literally, usually you cannot bypass this traffic. Like, you're literally stuck in the back and it's stop and go traffic. But I went around it illegally just to get there faster. And like, you know, everyone knew there was an accident on the freeway. That's what was holding up most of the traffic, was the accident on the freeway. Everyone knew that. and I got around it, and people saw me crying, so they just let me go. And then I see it. I can see all of the ambulance and the fire trucks and the police cars. I'm like, oh my God, I made it. Like, I was just hoping that I can make it there before he goes to the hospital. Like, I wanted to be there right by his side the whole time. And I see it, and I'm about to pull in, and I get this Snapchat from the girl again. And I open it, and it says, "I'm so sorry, Kyrie passed." And I just start screaming, and I feel so bad because my kids were in the back. I'm like screaming bloody murder because the pain I felt at that moment was just like unbearable. And I just like, it was like so unreal. Like, you never thought that you're gonna get that message that, you know, your partner or your best friend or whatever, your family is like, they passed away. And I just start screaming, and I pull in, and the officer comes to my window, and he's like, "Ma'am, what are you doing here?" And I was like, Kyrie Cotton, is he dead? I'm his girlfriend." And he's like, "Ma'am, you need to leave. We'll give you a call." I was like, "No, just tell me, is he dead? I'm his girlfriend. Just tell me." And he says, his words exactly, "If the name you are telling me is your boyfriend, then yes, I'm sorry, he passed away." And I screaming this the whole time, and I'm trying to get out, and he won't let me. He's like, "Ma'am, your kids are in the back seat. You need to be with your kids." And I'm just trying to get to Kyrie, and I just get out and I run all the way around the ambulance, and I see him laying on the ground with the sheet over him. And I just want to get to him, and I just want to hold him. And they wouldn't let me. They were stopping me, and I was just screaming, and they were just like holding me back. Oh my God, it was like the worst day ever. And then, well, right when I get that message, I forgot to mention, right when I get that message, I immediately call his mom before I pulled up, and I told her. And I feel bad that I told her like that, but I just blurted out, "Kyrie's dead," and you know, her scream just always replays in my head. But yeah, then they show up shortly after. I was on the ground screaming, and cars were looking at me, strangers just looking at me, staring, recording. And his parents show up, and it's just like the worst day. I couldn't even drive. They wouldn't let me drive. His mom had to drive us back to her house, and my kids were in the back seat crying, and I felt so bad because I know they saw Daddy, and I wasn't there. I wasn't thinking about that. I was just like, it was just like, I don't know. And of course, like, I think back and I feel bad, like the way I reacted in front of them. They were scared. They didn't know what was happening. I was just screaming no, and you know, we had to drive past where he was laying. And I feel like they saw. I don't know for sure. I pray they didn't, but it's just one thing I don't really bring up because they just know that Daddy went to heaven. Like, I don't want them to know all the details and everything. They know he was in an accident, but that's about it. And then, yeah, so that's what happened on that day. And it was like so crazy because that day was so perfect leading up to that. And you just never imagine that's how the day was gonna end. Alright, so yesterday my camera ended up dying mid-sentence. So this is the next day, obviously. I did want to go back and finish though, like what I was talking about. I didn't realize how long the video was actually going to be until realizing how much time I spent talking about that day. There is a lot that I missed out on. I wish I could have remembered to share with you guys, but we're just gonna move past that day. It did get emotional. I didn't really want it to get emotional. I wanted to talk through it, but obviously there's still so much pain that I'm dealing with. But I'm glad I was able to get through it and share with you guys finally how it happened and what happened on that day. So moving forward, I just wanted to finish, you know, telling you guys how our year, that past year was, and I also wanted to share with you how we've been doing within that year. I don't think we're gonna get to that In this video, I also want to share, like, you know, have the boys share with you how they're doing. I don't think that's gonna be able to be in this video as well. So if that's something that you guys want to see, just let me know, and you know, we can make a part 2 sharing how we've been and how the boys have been doing and all of that stuff. But getting back to right after he passed, yeah, very hard time. I had a job at the time, very stressful. Luckily, they gave me 2 weeks off. I had just started that job too, but they were so generous and gave me 2 weeks off until the funeral. Gave me time that I needed, and so I'm very thankful for that. I ended up taking 2 weeks off of work, and I stayed with his parents. You know, it was really hard to go home, very hard. His wine was still where he left it. The pan was still on the stove when I made him breakfast. His clothes everywhere. His toothbrush still laying on the counter. Like, it was so hard, you know? I couldn't do it. And I remember I had to go there once to get some clothes for us. And I was just trying to, like, rush through. It was just so hard. So I stayed with his parents for a couple weeks until I felt better to go home. I went back to work after a couple of weeks, and I just cried. I cried every single day. I cried before I walked into the building. I cried on every single break. See, before every single break, I'd call Kyrie. Hey, what are you doing? You know, he'd be waking up, getting ready for work. He worked a later shift than I did, so I'd just call him on my breaks. Hey, what are you doing? What'd you eat today? Don't forget. I'd make him a sandwich, put it in the fridge, or leftovers, whatever. Don't forget your lunch. And I just remember going on break, and I just would always go to call him every single time, and then I would just stop and just cry because he was not going to answer. And there were times that I actually did call him and I texted him, and it made me feel better for a moment. And I'd go back to work and I'd be an absolute mess. I'd be crying on the phone talking to, you know, the consumers, and my supervisor would just look at me and, you know, tell me, you know, you can go take time to yourself, go in your car, go on a break, whatever. She was very nice. And of course, you know, the people that I was talking to, they didn't know I was crying, but I would just be bawling my eyes out while trying to help them. I ended up quitting. I knew I needed to quit, but I was trying to hold on, you know, because I'm a single mom now. I need a job. I need to take care of my children. But my mind wasn't right. Like, I wasn't there. I couldn't do it. It was just too hard. And I remember I asked my supervisor to talk, and I said, I need to talk to you. Can we go in the office? And she knew at that point. She was just like, okay. And when she escorted me out of the building, she was crying with me, and she just gave me like the biggest hug. And she was like, if you need anything, you know, here's my number, call me, I'll be a reference for you at another job, let me know. She ended up passing away a couple months ago, and that broke me because she was such a good person. But I ended up quitting, and I knew that we needed to move. We needed to get out of that house. Shortly after I started work, I ended up going home, and I knew I needed to go home. I was never going to be ready to go back home, but I knew that it needed to happen. I needed the kids to just be on their normal routine. Like, I didn't want to switch it up for them, so I decided to go home. And that was hard. That was the first time I have ever left his mom's house to go home by myself. Never have I ever done that before with our kids, you know. We'd always leave his mom's house on Sundays and Sunday nights and go home. He'd take one kid, I'd take the other. We'd go in, and I got to my house and our car was packed up with all of our clothes. I look back in the back seat and both my kids are sleeping, and I realized, like, this is my new life. Like, I'm a single mom. I can do this. And I ended up waking up. My child was 4 at the time, my oldest was, My youngest was 1 at the time. Now they're 2 and 5. But I ended up waking up my 4-year-old and I was like, come on, Bubs, let's go inside. And we went inside and we just immediately laid down on the bed, and it smelled just like his hair stuff. It smelled just like him. The whole house, it felt warm. And that's what I needed. Like it honestly felt good to be home. And I was able to sleep through the night for the first time. After a while though, that's when I realized, like, we need to get out of here. Like, it was just too much on the kids. We lived right on the street. Every time a motorcycle would drive by, my youngest, daddy, daddy. And I don't know how to tell a 1-year-old, baby daddy's not coming home. So I knew I needed to move. Yeah, so it ended up moving. It did take a while to, you know, furnish the place, decorate everything. We started from scratch, like literally everything new. I didn't want to take anything from our old house besides, wait, pictures, that's all I took. And I still have all of Kyrie's stuff, saving for the boys. I'm sure one day when they can fit in his clothes, they definitely will be. Kyrie always had to look his best, you know, he has the nice clothes, and his boys are gonna be just like him. And even if they go out of style, I already know his kids are gonna wear his clothes, because I still find myself putting on his hoodies and sweats and everything. So it did take a while, you know, decorating and getting into our home, but honestly that helped a lot with keeping my mind occupied. And yeah, it was rough year, very rough. After I was done decorating, I just felt like I needed to be doing something else to keep my mind busy. And I know it's not healthy to avoid it, or to not get counseling, or to not talk about it. But I was avoiding talking about it. I don't like being sad, and I don't like sharing my feelings. So I still cry myself to sleep every night. I still cry in my car before I go into places. I still cry in the shower. I just, for a long time, I refused to cry in front of people. And I know it's okay. Like, everyone knows what I'm going through. I post every single day on social media because I don't want people to forget him, or to forget how great of a person Kyrie was. So we've been in this house for a year now, adjusting to a new job, new school, daycare, you know, a new life. It's definitely been a struggle. It's not easy. I don't know if it will ever get easy, to be honest with you. I know people say time heals. I don't believe that. Time does not heal. I don't think I'll ever be healed from losing the love of my life and my children's father. I don't think I'll ever be healed from that. I feel like through time helps. It doesn't heal. Like, you'll be able to, you know, get through a day without breaking down. You'll be able to start getting on a normal routine, but like, I don't think this pain is just gonna go away, you know? It's just always gonna be there. Kyrie was, you know, it's my life. Is my best friend. Someone I imagine walking down the aisle to, you know? And just sleeping alone, showering alone, eating alone. It's hard. And I have the most amazing friends. But at the end of the day, they're gonna go home to their family and they're gonna lay next to their significant other at night and they're gonna say goodbye, and I'm gonna go in my bed and I'm gonna lay alone. And it's not easy. I don't think it'll ever be easy, to be honest. And a lot of people ask me, do you think you'll end up marrying someone else? Do you think you'll end up being with someone else? Do you plan on having more kids? I'm not gonna answer that. Kyrie was my life. He was someone I wanted to marry. He was someone I had kids with, who, if we were to grow a family, it's gonna be with him. Now I look at my future and I see, my kids living their life, playing sports, and me just on the bleacher by myself, rooting for them. That's how I see my life. Just me and my kids. My 2 boys. And I'm okay with that. If you guys are interested in hearing, the boy side, let me know in the comments. Feel free to message me if you are dealing with something, similar or in the same position that I am. Reach out, comment how you're doing. Reach out to me if you need help, if you want to talk. I'm always here. Honestly, I'm so lonely. So, I wouldn't mind. And I appreciate you guys for watching. And I appreciate you guys for reaching out this past year, constantly checking on us, seeing how we're doing. I'm so grateful for all the love and support that we've had this far. We will actually be posting a lot. This is our channel. Kyrie and I wanted to do this for so long, and I'm so happy that I'm finally able to do it. I still want to be able to do the things that we plan to do. So we will be posting. Let me know in the comments what you want me to post about. I'll post about anything, everything, whatever you want to see. Let me know. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you guys want a part 2 with the boys, just let me know. Like this video. And thanks again. I'm so awkward, so I don't know how to end this. But yeah, that was it. I'm sure I missed out on so much, and I'll rewatch this video and be like, oh my god, why wouldn't you say that? But it's fine, you guys get it. And here I am, and I'm still trying to make it. So yeah.
You cannot run fast. Ready?
Dad love you, baby. Hey, say it, Dad. Hey, say it, Dad. Car, I love you. Look at Daddy's hair. Blow it. What you doing, stink?